This is Sean with Project Education. Here's another talk with counselors and experts in how to become tougher through trauma.
Hello, my name is Mrs. Pano. I'm a school social worker at Terravella High School, and I'm going to be interviewing one of our students who has really started to shine, and he's taken leadership in the group, and God has done some really great things with him, and we just want to hear from him. Zachary, how do you say your last name again? I said it wrong.
My last name is Leonard.
Leonard.
Zachary.
Okay, Zach. How are you doing with the quarantine? I want to tell you, I've heard so many stories, and it doesn't matter how old you are. Even myself, the teachers were all going through some difficult times with the quarantine, and I wondered if you would share. How's it going with you?
It's going all right. It could be better. I haven't been really keeping up with my classes like that, and I'm just getting used to the type of system that they're using. I've used it before, but it's a whole other, they just completely flipped the script, And family-wise, there's been a lot of arguments and stuff like that. There's been a lot of tension lately, and I think it's just because we're so close. It's not like a normal day thing where I would go to school, I would get a time away from my family. So now it's just we're all here,
Yeah.
So
yeah. So has there been some difficult moments for you as a result of that?
Yeah. So lately, I feel like the parents just expect. I mean, we should be doing it, but they just expect more because you're there now. So it's your chores and stuff like that. So just the other day, I was on the couch watching Netflix, this new show called Outer Banks. And my mom was like, "Hey, Zach, go take out the trash." And I'm like, oh. She's like, "I told you that 2 hours ago." She's like, "Go take out the trash." I'm like, "Can you just wait till the episode ends?" She's like, "No, go take it out now, and then you have to walk the dog." And I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "All right, here we go." So it's just just stuff like that. It just adds up, the little things. But
and it's hard to hide when you're in quarantine, right? There's not a lot of places we can go. So
nope.
Yeah,
just my room.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
So how would you say, if you're looking back at the way things were before and now? Can you describe what's different from before and now?
From before we were in quarantine?
Mm-hmm.
So when we were out of quarantine, living normally and stuff like that, everything was pretty all right. I mean, I still had issues in school that I needed to catch up on some grades and stuff like that, little things. But other than that, it was going fine. Go to school 7:40 to 2:40. I had time away from the family. I had friends I would go see. Now, I have to literally reach out to text my friend. I can't just see him an hour or two in the class or something like that. We can't hang out now. And the difference between now and then is there's no they limited everything outside our house. We have a curfew now. We have to go 2 people a person in the store. So now everything's limited, and before things were pretty limited, but I mean more freedom, I guess, if that's a better way of saying it.
Yeah. It is different, and it wears on you. I know it does on me, and sometimes I can feel this pull of lack of energy or sadness. I don't know what it is, but I know that we're all feeling some part of something like that. Can you relate to that at all?
Yeah, I've been feeling a little, I've kind of been in a funk. The first couple of weeks in the quarantine, I was staying up till 3 a.m. I would watch a couple of shows, and I don't even watch TV like that. I don't even play video games or anything like that. But lately, I've just been so attached to that kind of stuff. It's just things that I need to get out of, bad habits. But I think it's good that I went through those things, because now that I see that from that perspective, when I did that then, now it's just okay, now you know what to do type of thing. If this were to happen again, or now you know how to fight back, staying up till 4 a.m, waking up at 3 p.m. the next day. But
so you're learning to fight it. You're learning to discipline yourself, and probably you're having more time to do things. You may have more time to do devotions, to study, things like that. How has that been going?
It's been going really good. God's been showing me some like cool stuff. Like I was talking to Javin for like an hour the other day. He's a leader at First Priority for you guys that don't know. And like, um, yeah, like we were talking for an hour and like I noticed some things that he was saying and I'm like, wow, like this is like, I needed to hear this. Like, it's funny because I was in Bible study, blah, blah, and he just brought it up and I was like, whoa, it's crazy. And I was just like, dang, like God just works like really crazy when like in times like this, like that's when we need to keep our ears peeled and our eyes like on the right things so we can hear him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Has God been showing you anything specific that you can tell us about?
Patience.
Patience. Me too. Absolutely.
Patience because
thing.
yeah, it's really hard. It's extremely like like balancing everything because you're not on a schedule anymore. So now you're taking it into your own hands. Before it was laid out for you type of thing. Mm-hmm. But now it's just like everywhere.
So now it sounds like you are really understanding what God's saying to you now in a way that it sounds like several years ago, maybe not so much. Can you talk about from that time to this time, how God has brought you through where you were and where you are now and how did it happen? Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was really little, like I was born into, I would say, a broken family. We're not broken, but like, metaphorically, like we're a broken family.
Right.
My parents got divorced. It was like a sex before marriage type thing, like I wasn't planned as like they say, I don't know. But, and I was born into that. I was also raised in a church and like on and off in my life, I was going through being homeless. And so my parents were divorced when I was 2 and I grew up and I later had a stepdad and he helped us and then he left us with nothing. So that was my first time being homeless. It was really tough. I didn't know a lot. I was raised in a church, but I was also like 9 years old. And so like, I didn't know like certain things that, what the Bible said or like morals that a dad would tell you how to react in certain how to react in certain situations. Mm-hmm. And like just simple things like that. Growing up without a dad, it's hard, but I think as you get older and you start experiencing the things like just like little things, you just learn from those experiences. You can either learn from the experiences or you can fall back one.
Yeah.
And so during that time of being homeless, it was really bad. I was living with my grandma and then I would go to like a hotel, it was just like an on and off type of thing because, the family was broken. Everyone's always arguing. And so after that, we found a place and, we were still broken. There's times where we always had a plate on our food, we always had food on our plate. Sorry. And that was one thing that I really admire about my mom. She works like 4 jobs right now. She's a photographer. She's a realtor. She's a makeup artist. She works at a salon. It's like she's everywhere. And so she's always she's always providing. And that's something I really admire. And so during that time, like she was working 3 jobs at the time. And then we moved back over here because I was living in Melbourne, Florida when I was 9. And then I moved here when I was 10 or 12. And I was going into the 4th or 5th grade. And that's when the bullying started to happen. I was getting picked on. I didn't have the right clothes, didn't have the right shoes. My mom we were living bill to bill, rent, feed to like rent,
Yeah.
And that was where the struggle was. It was financial wise. And over the time period of life, like I realized like time is too valuable because like money isn't everything. Like I feel like nowadays, like that's what the media is trying to portray. Like that's what's all around us, And so she was always providing for us. And when I moved over here, bowling happened, 6th grade happened. We get an apartment, small apartment, and we're kind of stable in that time. I'm doing pretty good in school, A's and B's student. And then 7th grade hits and, I was with my grandpa at the time with her and they get into a big argument because my aunt was living there too. So it was 7 of us in a room, 7 grown like people in a room. And it was a room like smaller than a classroom. Like it wasn't big, like not even 3rd. And, we're living in there. It was this very toxic environment. It was an environment where I couldn't grow spiritually. I couldn't grow mentally, physically, I couldn't do any of those things.
Yeah.
And that's when it starts to like impact everyone around you, your surroundings. And my grandfather eventually kicked us out. He was attempting to hit my mom. So we went outside, and she's calling hotels. She's calling people she can to like, I don't know. I don't want to say help out because she's never needed a handout, but like to help the situation. She didn't want to go to the cops first. She wanted like someone to like help out, like a cousin or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a mess that night. And nobody came. The cops came, and we're looking for hotels around, and there's nothing open. They didn't take us. We didn't have enough money. Mm-hmm. And then our last stop, we were going to a bridge, and on the other side of that bridge, we were under it, there was a Motel 6, and they were the only ones that accepted us. Sometimes we would have to pay the lady in like food to let us stay an extra night. It was very like, it was not fun. And over those past years, 7th and 8th grade, I noticed a lot in life that I would have, I feel like if I was older, through just life experience that God has showed me and within the world and with God. And like just little things like time is so valuable to live every day like your last. And when you live every day like your last, that doesn't mean to like, get crazy or, go to every party you can, stuff like that. It's like to literally, follow the morals that that are good, but do them in a better, like more pushing way kind of, but like in a better way,
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I like to focus on, that I learned by myself with my walk with God, and just to like, I need to be patient more in a time like this. That's something I really wish I would have learned, like patience. But yeah. And so my walk with God lately, since like 8th grade, we've been fine. There's been like no problems. I'm a junior now. I'm graduating next year. I'm excited, and God's just been like doing a lot. He's been really good.
That is horrific, and it's heart-wrenching, the story that you tell. And I know that that can do something to your spirit. It can do something to your heart. And I look at you now, and I see that your spirit is bright, and your heart is soft, and it's transparent. What happened from that experience to now?
So in those time periods, I was going through, I don't know what, because I didn't have any guidance really, Mom was always at work, but she was always providing, and, my dad wasn't there. I had nobody to talk to. Oh,
there you go.
Can you hear me? Sorry. Yeah. I'm so sorry. And so I had no one really to talk to besides my uncle, and he's a pastor, and my other uncle's a pastor. So I would kind of talk for them to advice, but I never talked to anyone about mentally what was going on. Because, physical things happen, but like it's all like on the inside. So sure. I tried to run away multiple times. I think like twice, when I was like the first time or the second time we had went homeless with my grandfather. Like I was just so angry. I didn't know what was happening. I called my dad, and the first thing that he said was like, oh, okay. Like he didn't, it was and he lived like an hour away, but it doesn't faze me like that anymore. But I was like, I would always have that tendency to like, wish I was kind of gone. Like when I was lost, like I wish I was gone, but like I was always too scared to like try. I would say things, and then I wouldn't realize like the impact of those words. Like actions speak louder than words. And so like, I never fully tried to like take my life, or, I know people that self-harm, and during that time, like 7th graders that I knew that had like slits on their wrists, like I never got that far, but I wanted to. But that's when I started seeing like God's light, like using people in my life. So like really, like you have to really open your eyes. Like you have to have a full heart when you're seeking that thing, because it's very like, it changes your whole life.
Yes. And it sounds like God used your grandpa. Was it your grandfather?
Yeah.
God used your grandfather and some other, do you have to say you had an uncle? You have an uncle that you...
So my grandfather was the one that kicked us out, but no, it was my uncle. It was my 2 uncles, and they were pastors. One is a missionary pastor, and one is just a Baptist, Southern Baptist pastor in Melbourne, Florida, where I used to live. And I can, now we're always in discipleship with each other, iron sharpens iron. So like, we're always trying to like send each other Bible verses or just get connected in the Word, like do Bible studies, thing that just like can build us up. Because he just found out he's having a baby the other day, and I'm like, wow, like time really does fly. Like time is so valuable. Because I remember when we were like shooting each other with like BB guns when we were little. So like it's just like really important that you have those type of people in your life, and if you don't, like try to reach out.
Yes, I think that's excellent advice. And God really, really did draw you to himself through those people. And it sounds like it was encouraging to you and it made a difference in your life. How would you advise other kids if they're feeling really down right now and they're feeling like they can't get any further down? How would you advise them?
It's all in your head. That's the first thing I would say is you have to, if you really want to survive this world as a person, whether you're Christian or not, you have to be, I don't want to say like hard, like, like have like a mean face every day, but like you have to have mental toughness. And I'm like, if you really want to get out of that situation that you're in mentally, and like you want to start being a better person, you want to have a better relationship with your parents, you want to start letting your parents see what the type of adult you're becoming. You really have to put in your effort. It's not just going to happen overnight, and it's going to be hard, but like you have to really want it. And
Right.
with that being said, like I used to weigh 250 pounds and now I weigh 138.
Wow.
That's the story. And that was when freshman year, I was 200 pounds, but like just as an example for that, like you have to really want it. If you want that goal, if you want to achieve a goal, you have to really like put in your effort, your work, and like,
And it sounds like seek out influences, look for people who have godly knowledge and can encourage you with God's word. And like you did. And I think that made a huge difference in your life.
Yeah. There's apps you can reach out to people for. You have depression. I just got on one. I don't have depression or anything, but like if you want to help people on the app, you can go. You can like text them, "Hey, is everything okay?" when they post something like sad or something. There's a lot of apps for that. There's suicide hotlines that you can call. There's teachers. Your teachers really care, and that's something that I really noticed this year. Like I didn't think they care. I just thought they were like mean, passing out these grades so I fail. But they really help, and they do care. And that's why they're teachers. Like they didn't just become a teacher to become a teacher.
I agree. Yes, very, very good. Well, thank you so much. I love that you're able to express so much about how God has changed your life. And is there any last thing that I didn't ask that maybe you want to share?
I think we covered all of it, but the number one advice I would really give to someone that really needs it, that's watching this right now, is just keep your head up, and like your goals right around, like you're right around the corner. You're peaking. You have to want it.
Yes.
So
and maybe reach out and call somebody, a teacher.
Yeah.
Somebody from the school, a peer, a social worker. They can always call me if they're from Taravella usually. And then, also there's clubs, there's after school clubs, there's the First Priority Club, there's connection with the church. Are you finding the church as being a helpful connection to you? For you?
Yes. I've been following Calvary in my church. I like what they're doing, what Calvary's doing with their student ministry. I haven't seen too much on their adult ministry, but the student ministry, I got on a call the other day with like a Zoom call like this. And they're doing some really cool stuff. Like, what are some things you would change in the world? It's really opening, like, it opened my eyes, and I see it was opening some other youth, teenagers in like my boat that are kind of like, it's opening like that spark of potential that, that light that we need to start looking into. And I think that's really cool. And with my church by the Glades, I think they're doing an amazing job. They're doing like these cool, like, they're going live, like asking questions, like staying active with the kids. And so is Calvary. So they're all like, it's really cool what they're doing. And I really suggest that people stay tuned.
That's an excellent idea. I was going to say they should, how would they reach out, like say to Church by the Glades or Calvary? How would they do that?
Reach out to, I would say, if you want to get involved and you don't go to that church in a time like this, I would say you can DM or direct message on Instagram, a youth pastor that runs it. You can email like a worship singer that you saw on like an Instagram post that they tag. You can DM Javin. Javin's the youth Calvary pastor. You can reach out to him. He's always checking his mailbox and stuff like that. So they're always on top of things. That's what I've noticed. They're always on top.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that very inspiring talk. And I'll look forward to maybe talking again, or hopefully this will lead to something with other kids, helping other kids or whatever. So thank you for being so transparent and for sharing some difficult things in your life, because that's not easy to do, I know.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
Of course.
Okay. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
You too.
All right. Bye.